Welcome to Makers International, a podcast of makers from around the world, talking with makers from around the world. Here's Jamie Page, Steve Twidell, Chris Cute, and now your host, Richard Morley.
All right, well, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and good night. Whatever times, what it is, it's me, Richard. Oh, hang on, that ain't right. I'm going to be taking over the show. Well, the intro anyway. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Chris Cute.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Steve Twidell.
Hello.
Richard ain't here, as we've always said, because his internet's gone up the Swanee. This week's shout-outs is whoever's commented on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and everyone that's out in the chat. Just a quick reminder, this podcast is brought to you in part by Yorkshire Grit, the wood turner's abrasive paste. Our good friend Chad over at Man Crafting, who is his awesome powder-coated Yeti mugs, and Pan from Highland Boxes, who has his awesome resin and hybrid blanks. All links to our sponsors are in the description and can also be found at the webpage at makersinternationalpodcast.com/sponsors. Chris, any random listener questions?
I'm sorry, but that sounded so much like you were reading that, JP.
I was.
I was going to say, he didn't make a mistake. I was about to have to eat my words.
That's the most I've ever heard him talk in one podcast.
I know it. Normally it's a yes. No. Wow, Jamie, that's impressive. Yes, I do have a question. And this is where the active listeners who are with us live today get to participate in a very scientific study.
Uh-oh.
So just get your opinions ready, and I'll do my best to keep track, okay? And this question is because I personally want to settle a long-standing feud, okay? So I'm looking for you to help me out. And Steve, Jamie, you get to answer first. You can only have one food for the rest of your life, and you have to pick one of these two. So, and you have to be honest. So what's it going to be?
I'm a fussy eater.
Tacos or pizza? Go.
What depends on what the topping is.
No, it can be whatever you like on either one. I'm just saying tacos or pizza.
That's a simple one, pizza, because I can make a pizza out of any of the food I like. So,
all right, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna say pizza as well, because
and you can deep fry a pizza too.
I had a bad experience with tacos when I went to Boston. It made me kind of poop out the eye of a needle from 100 paces.
Okay.
Nice. That's a nice image.
And I'll let the folks in the live chat put their vote in for the next, I don't know, couple minutes. And then
Jamie's poop.
Then we're going to tally this up.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know who won.
There you go. Maple Tree Studios, Jaffa Cakes. I like their thinking.
Well, you could do a Jaffa Cake pizza, couldn't you?
All right. If you haven't voted, one food rest of your life, and you have to choose either pizza or tacos. Doesn't matter. Give me your opinion. Which one would you have to go with?
Oh, actually, yeah. Paul Barnes said Taco Bell doesn't count.
Well, yes, it does. I mean, they sell tacos. It's just, well, if you want to consider that good, that's just up to you.
A nice deep fried Mars bar pizza. That would be lovely.
But that's not a pizza or a taco.
It's a pizza.
Leona's never had a taco.
I don't think I've ever had a taco either, to be honest with you.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. Taco Bell, is that tacos? I suppose it is.
Well, it's taco. They sell all kinds of.
They were really soft, and I weren't keen on them. I mean, if I'd have it a proper one, I might change my mind.
I've had Taco Bell in Canada, but I don't know if that counts as real food.
Well, no, it's kind of pseudo Mexican food. So Taco Bell is. I mean, look, I used to love Taco Bell. I would go through and I can tell you my order. I'd get 3 tacos and a burrito supreme with no sour cream every time I went there, and I would eat that when I was driving home from work, on the road. And yes, it was messy, and my car was, whatever. It doesn't matter. But yes, Taco Bell has its place. Now, Then I married a Mexican woman and realized Taco Bell is an abortion. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
There you go.
David, I agree with you. Taco pizza is the winner, but it's pizza. So your vote has to be pizza. Okay, so there we go. All right. I'm going to end this because I think everybody's already made their choice. All right. And I'll fill you in on what the deal was. Andy Berkey and I
No, I knew it had to be
have been going back and forth about tacos for quite some time. And I posted on Facebook the other day about how America's favorite food by far is pizza. And he wouldn't hear it. He's going, no, you're wrong. It's tacos. It's I'm going, okay. And that's why I had to ask the question today. And in case you're curious, pizza, let me see if I can get this, 11, taco 4. Yeah. Andy Berkey.
So now I challenge Andy Berkey to get the most artistic picture he can get of a pizza.
There you go.
There you go. I want to see the most artistic pizza that anyone has ever seen of a pizza.
You know how you do that?
Since he lost.
You make the pizza.
Yeah, since he lost.
You make the pizza on a grill. Andy, I'll give you a hint. Go make the pizza on an outdoor grill. That will be.
I want to see a Andy Berkey picture of a pizza, and I'll write a poem to it, and it won't be a serious poem. I'm telling you that.
Leona's telling me I need to get out more often. Leona, you haven't even had a taco. I think you need to worry about yourself first. I mean, come on.
Leona, we're talking about a guy that drinks golden showers. Come on. Hey.
I get out enough, okay? Trust me. Lucky I'm not in jail this moment. Jeez. Some people's kids. Oh.
She says touche.
All right. Today's topic, and we wanted to bring this up because we've been talking about it internally. I think we mentioned it once a couple of weeks ago, but we wanted, because it's interesting, and I want to get in, and it's about Steve. Okay, so everybody look at Steve.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Okay, stop looking at Steve. It's the title of the show is obviously called The Maker Bus. And that's something that Steve has been really, really, really wanting to do for, I guess, quite some time now, Mr. Twidell. Jesus, Jamie, stop featuring him. Thank you.
I love this software.
We have no integrity.
And everything.
We have no integrity as a podcast. It's like, if you're looking for professionalism, yeah, keep knock on the door, next door.
Make yourself lucky I didn't give it sound effects for the podcast. You've got to cut that lump out.
One thing you never have to worry about if you listen to us, we're not going to try to be your life coach. It's just not going to happen.
Stevie's guns.
Boom.
All right, seriously, boys. If we can be serious today, I don't know that it's possible. Squish the duck again. Hold on. Squish. Anyway, Steve, the Maker Bus. What is your and honestly, let's be serious. What is your foresight into this? I mean, where did it come from? How did you think? What made you think about it, and what are you looking to do with it? If you could explain to somebody who doesn't even know what we're talking about right now, start at letter A. We'll get to letter Z.
Okay. Letter A is it's really scary, scary future that I've kind of thought to put myself into, but basically it's something I'll do the backstory. The backstory is the job that I'm in right now is I work with kids, obviously, but I'm a special needs assistant, which means I am an assistant to the teacher in the classroom that I work in the school, as are all the SNAs in the school. We're SNAs and we're assistant to the teacher. I'm a man that is 48 years of age, okay? And the one thing I would love to be is a teacher, because I've seen the teaching side of it over the last few years of working in the job I'm in. I would love to be a teacher. But to be a teacher in this country, in Ireland, I would have to do 4 years study. And then I would have to do another year of what they call the HDIP, which is to get your teaching license. So you become qualified and then you have to do your teaching license. But to be able to get the teaching license, I believe, don't anyone hold me to this, I believe you have to be in some kind of full-term employment as a student teacher to be able to do your HDIP in the school that you're working. So the way I'm looking at it is minimum 53 years of age, maybe 54, before I could become employed as a teacher in a school. And most schools, the teachers they're employing are not that age. Let's just put it that way.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be a really long process to get to the point where I could teach in a school. Now,
To be an
Yeah.
an academics teacher.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Any kind of teacher, like to be able to have your teaching license, it's going to take me at least 5 years.
Right.
Let's
Okay.
put it that way.
Gotcha.
All right. Now, there are other ways of becoming a teacher here in Ireland. You could be lucky and you could be taken on by a university or a college or something like that, and they could take you on through qualifications in the trade that you are qualified in. Okay.
Which, and because they do the same thing here in the States, and that basically
Yeah.
allows you to be employed while gaining your credentials, but because they know that you're an expert in the subject, they allow you to teach it. Right. Okay.
Yeah. The qualifications I have are for plumbing and heating.
Okay.
I don't like that job at all. That's why I left it.
It's because you've
The
done it.
last thing I want to do is be teaching plumbing and heating, because I will teach a load of students to go away and rethink their job career. and the school that I'm working in will have no apprentice plumbers. But
Got it.
so the other way I can do it is if I become an independent teacher and have my own school, because you don't have to be a qualified licensed teacher in theory to teach woodwork or carpentry or arts and crafts,
Because you're running it
Okay.
privately. It's a private school.
because yes. So my thought around it is, if I can, and there's nothing here in Ireland that does anything like it, I thought if I can build a classroom and bring it to schools, because most schools here also, which is I discussed it slightly when we were talking with Andy and with the girls when they're on, with the fact that a lot of schools are losing their workshops and they can't afford to pay teachers, and they're going more down the science and maths and all that. They're really not concentrating that much on the arts and crafts as much as they used to. So if I can bring a whole workshop to a school and provide them with a teacher, me, and spend the day there, and they send whatever students they want out to the maker bus or creator bus, then I can do lessons in that environment, use all my tools, all my materials, and they pay me either a block payment, or they pay me per lesson or whatever. But however it works, that's how it will work. I'll have all the insurance, I'll have all the skills, I'll have all the tools, I'll have all the materials. And if they've got a particular theme they want to cover, or there's something in particular they want to build for the school or whatever, then I can use that workshop with the kids to do that. And they're learning crafts, arts, woodwork, whatever. And the school has absolutely no responsibility
Because it's
other
under
than
your
to say,
yeah, right.
yes. Yeah.
And
So that's my plan.
so I mean, ideally, a school could say,
What sort of,
"Go ahead, Jamie. I'm sorry."
go on, Chris.
All right. So ideally, a
I was
school.
just trying to say what. Right, go on, Chris.
I think there's a delay.
There's no delay. Jimmy's just being an ass. So ideally, a school could hire you up to be out there for a day, or they could book you for a week, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But generally, what tends to happen here in Ireland, because they have a thing called music generation, which is they have music teachers that, which a lot of schools don't have anymore. They don't have music teachers anymore. So they'll have teachers come. They'll bring all the instruments and everything. They come once a week for a day, and for that day they tour around each classroom in the school, and they'll do a half-hour stint of music with the kids in that particular class.
Got it.
And then and they'll get paid for a bank of 8 weeks. So
Gotcha.
they'll do one day for 8 weeks.
So
And
it's
normally it'll be under some kind of particular theme. So if it's farm or whatever, and they bring the music to suit that theme. And that's kind of where I'm aiming to go, is to do banks of 8 or 10 weeks through the academic term.
got it. Jamie, so what was your question?
I was just kind of wondering, there's a couple of questions really. The first one is kind of what sort of tools would you be looking at? Naturally, a lathe, I'm presuming.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna guess a Dremel, because you see you doing that sort of stuff on your channel as well.
Yeah. Do you know what, Jamie?
So, yeah.
It's nothing to do with my channel. I want a workshop that can cater for whatever the schools throw at me.
So you want a mobile workshop, which is
Exactly.
I'm glad,
Yeah.
but I asked but I'm glad you asked that, Jamie, because that was going to be my next question.
So I guess you could say like Monday to Tuesday is wood turning or woodwork, and then you could come home, swap everything out for a sewing machine and I don't know, glue sticks and whatever for Wednesday to Thursday. And
yeah, I mean, depending on the size of the vehicle that I have. I mean, at the moment, I've been looking into a lot with buses, because buses, I want it to be wheelchair accessible too, because I want to cater for kids with special needs as well.
That was going to be my question. My next question was going to be, are you going to have all of your tools bolted down inside the bus, or are they going to be on wheels so you can take them out in the parking lot and create your workshop there? I mean, what was your thinking as far as that goes?
A bit of both. So whatever big tools that are heavy to carry, like the lathe and let's say a bandsaw, and the bigger tools, vices and stuff like that, will be in the vehicle, but they'll be on adjustable height benches.
Oh, got it. So they can be adjusted.
So I'm thinking of kind of building everything that I put into the bus as well, benches and stuff like that. I'm going to be building out of upcycled materials and stuff like that. It's all going to be hand built and made by me. I won't be able to afford to go out and buy top of the range benches and stuff. So my plan is that I'll work it in some way, probably with hydraulic car jacks or something like that, where I can put an electric drill onto it, pull the trigger, and it just winds the bench up and down to whatever height to suit. And they'll also, the lathe and stuff like that will be on tilt as well. So if you've got kids that have got very limited mobility with their arms and their hands,
because they're in a wheelchair, for instance, right?
Yeah, I can bring the lathe to them to suit their height or their need, and then I can do hand over hand work with them. And it's not necessarily them building this fantastic thing, it's them taking part and doing something other than sitting in a wheelchair and watching everybody else do it. I want them to be able to experience what every other child can experience, because most kids in wheelchairs can, but they're just limited on how they get to it.
All right, my next question is this. And because I'm not even going to ask you if you have a target date on when you'd like to start this up, because I mean, your answer would be tomorrow if I could. But considering the expense here, because you're looking at, you need to buy the bus, and depending on ideally, you're probably you want a bus that's on like the size of the bus that's on your shirt currently. But I mean, that may or may not happen to start out. But if it does, congratulations. So you get the cost of the bus. You have a number of the tools in your own personal workshop now that you would need to get started. I mean, obviously you would probably want a larger bandsaw than you currently have, but you could get by with what you've got. So how much money are you thinking you need to put into fitting out this bus? I mean, because you've got extractors, all sorts of things that you need to consider when these kids are in there and doing work inside the bus. Outside the bus, obviously, you don't need to worry about the extractors as much. But I guess my question is, and I don't want it to be too personal, but how much is this going to cost you? And how do you plan on raising the money?
Yeah, I'd be stupid to say it's not going to cost a lot of money. You can't build anything for nothing. Do you know?
Right.
The way I've worked it is I've given myself a 3 to 5 year plan.
Okay.
Business plan. I'm going to do the easy goals to start with, which I've already started. I did my provisional truck and bus driving test, theory test yesterday, and I passed that. So now I have my piece of paper to say that I can drive a bus or truck as a learner driver. Okay, that was the easy bit, and that's the most cheapest part. Even though that was 100 quid, it was still, I got it done, and it's done and dusted. So now I have 2 years of a provisional to learn and get my full bus and truck driver's license.
And that'll cost
So
you
that's
what?
the first stage. That to get the lessons and all that, I mean, to get the bus license and to do the amount of lessons that I have to do, because you have to do a certain amount of lessons before you can take your test, it's probably going to be between 1,000 and 1,500 euro just to get my bus license.
Holy moly. Oh, and they get that because people make that their living driving buses. I get it, but man, that's not cheap.
But there might be a loophole, which is what I'm trying to work out at the moment, because my bus isn't going to be a bus.
Right.
It's going to be.
I got you.
It's going to be, in theory, it's going to be a truck that's shaped like a bus.
Yeah,
because I'm going to be stripping all the seats out of it, and it's not going to ever carry passengers. It's only going to have me driving it, maybe one person in the front, if that. But it's not even going to have that. It's not going to have a seat in the front. You only have a driver's seat, and then all the seats at the back in a bus. So what's going to happen is it will just become a commercial vehicle.
Oh, okay. So you might be able to get away with it just being a truck. As long, because I mean, I guess the reason why it costs so much is because you have liability if you're transporting people back and forth, and they want to make sure that you're not going to kill somebody. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, and here in Ireland as well, they do. I forget what it's called, a CPO. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But there's an extra cert that once you get your bus license, you have to do a test every year to prove that you're able to transport people in a bus. So it's an extra test that you have to do every year, your fitness and your skills of being a bus driver, that you can transport passengers. But that won't apply to me because I'm never going to be driving passengers in a bus. It's not going to be a passenger vehicle. I have hit some obstacles, but anyway, the money side of it, I can't even hazard a guess to how much it's going to cost. I've been looking at buses. I can probably pick up a second-hand bus. There's one at the moment on the market, for instance. There's a second-hand bus. It's a 38-seater bus, which is about the size. It's got the air ride suspension. It has no seats in it already, so there's no stripping any seats out. I could get that for about £1,200, which will work out about 1,300 euro.
That's not bad.
Which isn't bad, but it needs a lot of work. I don't know whether, it might need body work or whatever.
It may cost you like £2,000 to fix it up and make it right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But at least you would have it. And Andy out in the chat asked, he says, Steve, like the previous Make It Matter auctions that you've done, would you consider doing one to help raise money for this? I think you have enough friends in the community and the support behind you where people would be willing to get involved in it to raise some money. I mean, this goes back to my question. How do you plan, besides, putting, £20 or, a week here and, and hoping that it grows? I mean, how do you plan on raising that kind of money if you don't do something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much hit the nail on the head. I was considering doing a Make It Matter bus fund, bus auction or bus.
I mean, I would get involved in that in a heartbeat. I mean, I would get involved in that in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
because I tell you what, I tell you why that's so appealing, Steve, is because not only do I know I'm helping you out, regardless of whatever I make sells for, but it gives me an opportunity to get out in my shop and have fun. I'm having fun. End up making something that hopefully turns out nice enough that somebody will pay good money for, and then the money goes to somebody who needs it. I mean, that's a win-win-win. I mean, I don't see why that would be a problem. Awesome. I mean, well, I tell you what, Steve, I don't want to rush you on this, but get chopping, my man. I mean, let's get the ball rolling on this, and I guess today could be the day, since we're doing the podcast about this. Let's start churning the old friggin'
Chris the Mad Maker just put an interesting comment. He put £20 per sticker on the side of the bus. Now, what about if not so much a sticker, but if there's a company in Ireland maybe that does wraps, for example, Now we know that Pat Lapp knows how to make wraps because he done Carl and Robbins.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So if he was able to design the wrap for
The
your
creative,
trailer,
right.
the Maker Bus, even if it's
Yeah,
just
I
a
mean-
massive sticker.
Well, Steve's going to need to have the bus before you can even talk about that. Because you're going to need dimensions.
Yeah,
all kind of-
exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I
I
mean,
think that,
obviously, I've been sorry, I didn't mean to jump over you. Obviously, I've been considering. I mean, like anyone would in the maker community, and the, you know, I've been in the community a long time now. So I was hoping also that maybe a couple of tool companies would jump on board and maybe help me out, and get their name on the bus too. Do you know? Because the kids I'm going to be teaching, most of them anyway, other than the children with special needs, are going to be going on to be adults in their own workshops and blah blah blah. You know, if they're already experienced at using one particular tool, then more chances are that when they do go off and get their workshop, that they're going to say, "Oh, I know how to use yada yada tool. I'll buy that because I'm already been shown how to use that in with Steve."
I'm thinking,
So,
and I don't, Jamie, I don't know. I mean, you know these folks a lot better than I do. I've only actually physically spoken with them once, and it was when I was in Birmingham a couple of years ago. But Record Power seems like they would be on board with helping you out with at least a lathe, because you're looking at probably putting a MIDI lathe in that bus, right? You're not looking
Yeah.
to put a full size friggin' Laguna or robust lathe in there. You're looking to put a MIDI lathe in there because kids are going to be using it, so you're not going to be turning huge projects.
So my plan, because I'm restricted on space, I'm going to have to use every bit of space that I can possibly get in the vehicle I've got. But also, I've got to keep it to its weight restriction. Tools are heavy, so
Yeah. Good point.
So I've got to keep it to its weight restriction. So what I'm thinking of doing is building it in a way that whatever work surfaces I have and shelves and stuff I have are on wheels that can just wheel off and wheel back in. So any particular job that I have to go to, I just put on the tools that are required and I go and I do that. So it'll be chests of drawers with, say, if they want to build a wooden box, for instance, just
right.
a flat work wooden box, you know, the type pencil box with a sliding lid, that kind of simple wooden box. I'm going to mainly need hand tools for them to learn how to use the hand tools. I might need a bandsaw, and any basic, maybe a chop saw or something like that, you know, something that's for cutting main stock. All right, now a lot of the time I'm going to have the work prepared, so they've got their little pack
And they can just need to assemble.
they work from their own. Well, not even just assemble. I mean, if they've got to do maybe just one set of dovetails for the whole box, you know, so most of it's done for them, but they'll still learn how to do the principle of how the box is constructed.
Right.
You know, it'll all be done properly. It'll all be lesson plans, and it'll be, because that's how schools work. They want to see lesson plans and they want to see how the kids are learning from it. It's not just a DOS to go out messing about in a bus with a load of sharp tools. They want to see a lesson plan, and they want to see, you know, your outcomes, your goals, and what's going to be written in the school report at the end of the year, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still going to be another lesson in their curriculum each week.
Right. And you know what? And I hate to say this, and I'm sorry to say this, to be quite honest with you, but in the end, something is better than nothing, right? And if schools are going to be deleting their programs or on the verge of doing them, and then you come along and offer them a cheaper solution that still allows kids to get exposed, maybe not to the level of full class would year round, but at least it's still exposure, then that's better than nothing. And they're actually saving money, the school-wise, by hiring you to come in.
And the other thing I can offer as well with the Maker Bus as well, and I only know this because my own son struggled with the Leaving Cert, and the Leaving Cert here is your last end of school exams, right? And he was doing woodwork for his last end of exam, and he had to stay back in the school for endless hours to get his project finished, ready to be marked for the final exams.
Right.
If I can bring the bus to the school and the kids can come out and work on their projects in my workshop, and I'm relieving the teacher to continue with their day-to-day activities, then it's going to be worth the school spending that money, because I can still teach them and they can use all the tools I've got in the bus to do their projects. Pretty much the kids know what they've got to do anyway. They only need an adult to be standing with them.
Right. Okay. Well, Steve, you need the bus, first of all.
Yes. Yep.
Initially, do you absolutely positively have to, or do you need any tools or things that you don't have that you want to put on that bus? I guess not want, but needs. Let's talk about needs, not wants. Do you need anything that would have to go with it?
Are we talking about a dream bus here?
No, I'm talking about whatever it takes you to get started, because getting started, like any business, no business starts out being, Elon Musk. They have to build their way to it. So, I mean, getting started, what, if anything, do you need?
If I'm honest, I've got everything I need to start and go to a school.
Okay,
but
so you need the bus.
I know for a fact that the tools that I have, or just a couple of them, will break very quickly when they're being used every single day. I'm only using them at weekends, occasionally doing bits and pieces. The bandsaw I have, the main tool I need to get, and I have been looking on secondhand markets, is I need to get a decent, I don't know, 14-inch bandsaw or something like that, that's going to be able to cut stock.
Gotcha.
Because I'm restricted on, I have no machinery that can cut big stock down to small stock. I have a crappy, cheap, I don't want the one thing I don't want to put in the bus, and I will never hold responsible. I'm never going to have a table saw in the bus.
Understand.
Any work that I do with the kids, I will talk about table saws. I'm going to have a monitor up in the bus that I can show videos and stuff like that. But a table saw only takes me to look away like that for 30, not even 10 seconds, and look back again, and it's a child ruined for life.
And fingers are gone.
With at least with the bandsaw, I can watch that. I can stand over it, or I can do the work with the bandsaw.
With the bandsaw, if you're going to be, resawing your own stock wood, you're gonna need a planer. Do you have a planer? Because you're gonna need to flatten it. So I mean, you're gonna want a planer at some point in time to clean up that wood after it's been bandsawn. So a planer. Honestly, Steve, I think you can get started. I mean, if for somebody who had your knowledge and didn't have your current shop, it would cost them a lot of money, but you've got a lot of the tools already. There's upgrades that you need. There's upgrades that you need, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you've got one lathe, but I mean, ideally, I'm thinking you probably want 3 little small mini lathes.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I've got 2 MIDI lathes, and it's because of the generosity of 2 people that are actually in the chat, Wayne the Woodturner and Leona Fay. Leona's given me a MIDI jet lathe, which is in behind me up there.
Because I have a MIDI
jet, a MIDI jet lathe, and I have a MIDI record power. Is it? No, Axminster. Axminster. I have a MIDI Axminster lathe here as well.
So those will, right.
Because he's awesome. He actually shipped that to me, and between Leona and himself, they shipped that to me, which it wasn't cheap, from the UK. So yeah, that's pretty freaking amazing. So I have 2 MIDI lathes that will get me going, and will start earning me money, and will start teaching the kids. So the lathes and the tools, they're the least of my worry, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Yeah. It's getting the stock down to the sizes that I need to be able to turn on those MIDI lathes. I've got big lumps of wood that people have given me, but to chop them down, I'm using a chainsaw, which just isn't.
No, that's not going to, and it's not going to work. You need a 14-inch bandsaw at least, and then you're going to want a planer, so you can make them parallel and square on all sides if that's what you want to do. Because all right, well, I'm trying to think what's next. I mean, because you're looking at a 3 to 5 year plan, right?
I'm ideally a 3-year plan. My goal is to be slowly building the bus over the next 2 to 3 years. Get the bus at my property, even if I can't drive it, even if I don't have the license to drive it here. I've got a friend that has the full bus license. He has a bus company. He can bring the bus here and park it up next to my property, and I can start work, and it's all free. I can work on that. Obviously, apart from materials, I'm going to be building benches and stuff from upcycled or whatever. Even if I do the whole thing out of pallet wood, I will. that's what I want to start doing, is building the bus and getting it working. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be working on my slowly removing myself from my full-time job and getting into this. Now, I'm lucky enough that in my job, I can do what they call job sharing, which means that when I'm ready, I can back down and I can apply to do job sharing, which means that myself and another person covers my hours, and I work half a week and they work half a week.
But in the meantime, you're half a week that you're not working there. You need to supplement that income elsewhere. So
yeah, so when to make that choice, what I've got to do is have a working bus then, because that's when I'm going to start bringing the bus around the schools for that half a week. So I'll work my full-time job and I'll bring the bus around, and I'll slowly build up my workload to the point where I can turn around and say, okay, guys, I'm ready to go full self-employed, make a bus, let's go, and do it that way. And then in 10 years' time, have my whole franchise.
I know. I think it's a fantastic idea. I don't know, other than to give you ideas, how to assist you and do this. Because I'd like to see you do it, man. I really would. I mean,
yeah.
And not because I think it only, well, of course, we're all going to want to see at least a couple videos of you teaching all these kids, because I think that would be awesome. But I mean, I just want to see it happen, because I know the kids in your area are starved for that. And I just think if nothing else, it's a community service, and it's something you could really feel good about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm imagining kids start going from junior school, as they call it here, and going up to the senior school, where they'll start doing woodwork, and being able to walk into a workshop and the teacher going, right, this is a bandsaw, and them going, yeah, I know,
right,
let me at it, I know what I'm doing. That is such a boost for kids to be able to go into a workshop and know exactly what the hell they're looking at and how to use the stuff.
Right. And Leona makes a good point, and I want to bring this up, but I have a counterpoint to this. Surprise, Leona. I may disagree with you, but she has a good point. She says, you got to remember, guys, that Ireland is a very small compared to the UK. There are no big tool companies to sponsor him. However, my counter to that, Leona, is if these companies have enough foresight to see what Steve is talking about doing and to put their name on it, they could actually build the businesses that they currently don't have in Ireland and start growing their company in Ireland if he's educating people and people become interested. So I agree with you, but you need to look at a company or companies that are willing to make that kind of investment in the future. And it's not, well, what's the economic situation in Ireland right now, Steve? Is it okay? Is it, people really struggling?
Yeah, it's picking up now. No, it's picking up again now, yeah.
Well, then, you know what? Then this is the time to actually hit these kind of companies up, because they have the opportunity to have that kind of foresight. Now, granted, if they were having problems, economically in the UK, then they couldn't afford to do it. But now might not be a bad time to hit them up. I'm just saying.
And the other thing I've got to look into as well is they do have startup business enterprise schemes as well here, so I've got to look into that I might get some kind of government funding to start up the business, but they don't subsidize a business that someone's thinking about setting up. I would actually have to be in full-time, right, I'm going for it, and not employed. It would have to be a business ready to go that they will fund. They won't have so if I'm doing the job sharing and that, they'll be like, well, hold on a sec, is he just doing this so he can make a few pounds and buy himself a new car?
and as typical, wants to argue. She says, but there is no interest in supporting us because there's not enough publicity for them, Chris, and they don't they don't have the market for it here. Well, my counter argument to that, Leona, is if that's the thinking they have, then they never will have that market there, and there never will be any interest in promoting their product to sell there. A company with enough foresight to say there's a market in Ireland that has not been tapped. we
Yep.
should probably go visit those folks and maybe sell some stuff because there's nothing there. I mean, Leona, hello. It's not about advertising. It's about them making more money, and that means getting interest within an area that probably doesn't have it at the moment.
But on the very next
Mic
line,
drop.
yeah, but on the very next line under that, she has a very, very important word at the moment, because Ireland does not know where it's going to stand in the next couple of months. And that's
No, you're right,
Brexit.
because of
And there's a
Brexit.
lot of there is a
Breakfast.
lot of there is a lot of companies here that are panicking, because if Brexit affects the shipping side and the import export side of everything, then the small companies here that are already doing the Axminster and
Right.
the Record Power and all that are going to be dropped, because it's going to be too expensive for them to get the stuff over here. So that's why a lot of businesses are holding off. They're waiting to see what happens with Brexit, and once they know what the story is, then they might start setting stuff up. But it's not going to happen for the next 5 years until they know, how it's going with the Brexit.
I hear you. I mean, because I don't want to get into politics of this, but I do understand that a little bit. I've been following it. I mean, whether it's the backstop or they come up with a different solution.
I'm sorry I brought up Brexit, guys.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But look, you know what? Keeping it real, and that is real. That is an issue, and I can understand that. But I don't know. And you know what, Steve? I think when they do that, it's going to be a cluster. You know what? For a while.
Yeah, it's perfect. A cluster duck.
Yeah, a cluster. Wait. But I think eventually it will get worked out. But I agree with you. It's not going to be. This is not going to be smooth sailing to begin with. It just hasn't been set up that way, and this hasn't looked at, well, from an outsider looking in. It doesn't look like it's currently working that way either. So hey, whatever. I don't. Well, Richard has a different market than Ireland, so that's a bad comparison. Okay, point Leona taken. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it is a small country, but it does need people to start standing up and saying, "Do you know what? We're a small country, but we can set up businesses, and we can do this, and we can start promoting Ireland and saying we can do this stuff. Bring your stuff over here. We'll get a way around."
And people like you that will be out there on a bus showing kids cool stuff to do are the people that are working for them, even though you're not on their payroll, because you're creating the market that they eventually will sell to. Now, whether they want to support you initially or not, I mean, I guess that's the question. And that's just, I think that comes down to the foresight a company has and the budget they're willing to, spend. But man, I can't help but wish you all the best in the world on this. I mean, Steve, if you have ideas, let us know on how we can help you out.
Yeah, I mean, watch this space for a Make It Matter campaign coming up. It might be a different kind of campaign because it's to fund me. I don't, it's very awkward. It's very awkward doing a fundraiser for something that you're doing yourself.
But you're not.
Just saying.
Okay. I understand you're looking to do something for yourself that you can make a living on, but if you look at it from the perspective of the long run, you're doing this to help kids.
Yeah.
So you're
exactly.
not. I mean, yes, you got to be making money off it because that's going to have to be your job. But in the end, it's the kids who are going to get the benefit. I mean, you're just going to try to keep the paycheck coming in the door. That's so. Don't look at it as give me money. Look at it as give them money.
Yeah.
And allow me to do this.
Yeah. And I can't just jump into this. I'm the prime supporter of my own family too. So, I've got to make this happen through whatever money I've got coming in myself.
Right.
Which is just one wage. My wife doesn't work. She's at home. Well, she does work. She works incredibly hard, but she doesn't get paid for the work she does because it's our own family that she's looking after and she's keeping our own house. But I can't subsidize this and that. So there's some way I've got to raise the capital. So if that's how I've got to do it, then doing it honestly through some kind of fundraiser, then I would prefer to do that rather than saying, please, can I have some money?
Right,
Please,
exactly. No,
I would rather be a part of a campaign that people choose to do, and I'm not forcing people to to hand over
Well,
their
and
money. And not
I
only
have,
that, everyone gains from the stuff that's being sold, and
I
everyone
have
gets out in the workshop.
always felt that way. And I don't want to. I'm not going to start getting on my high horse too much, but I've always felt the best way to raise money is to charge people for something that they can actually put in their hand after they give you the money. And if you make a little bit of profit off of selling that to them, that's a respectable way. That's called business hello 101. It's not going out there and going, please, sir, can I have some more? Like Oliver. I mean, it's like, it's like you're not out there doing that. You're actually going, hey, do you like this? The guy goes, yeah, I love that. He's, you want to buy it? Yeah, well, it's going to cost you 25. Oh, no problem. Here you go. And it cost you $10 to make, so you made 15. That's business. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just reading the chat here. Maple Tree Studio just come up with a very good. He said, "I think we should all. I've thought of a way we can help. We could all visit Ireland and bring demo equipment.
There you go. And then forget to bring it home.
No customs that way. So maybe what I could do is kind of organize a bring a tool party."
There you go.
Yeah, I'm bringing Chris.
Oh, that was mean. True, but mean.
There's a lot of Chris's in this community.
Yeah, there is only one Chris Cute though.
I don't know if I like you guys anymore. That hurt, Jamie. Okay, whatever.
Well,
there's a hashtag.
If you didn't like me, then you're going to hate me. If you didn't like me, then you're going to hate me even more now. You know what time it is.
Andy, you're going to have to change that hashtag. I'm afraid. No, that won't work. Hashtag support the Maker Bus maybe, but not support Steve, because people might see that as a bit wrong. Yeah, we'll give him. We'll support Steve. He looks as if he needs the money.
I'm not going to be a supporter of Steve, if you know what I mean. It's just. It's not happening.
The other thing
like
as
that.
well is I'm not 100% sure it's going to be a bus yet. I've still got to work out insurance and stuff like that. And there's a lot of laws when you convert one vehicle to another vehicle, but it is going to be a creator vehicle of some kind. But it does need
have to worry
some
about
kind of low suspension. Yeah,
well, you also have to also consider. Jesus, Jamie, shut up. You also have to visit. You also have to worry about the load capacity of whatever vehicle you have. Okay,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously when it's wheelchair accessible, it has to have wide entrance and exit. It has to have ramp systems. It has to have, all the things that special needs facilities have.
Yeah, because you want to make it accessible to everyone, so you have to do
that.
Got it.
Yeah. Yes.
I like it. All right. Well, keep us updated, Mr. Twidell. We would like to help out, and I'm sure when you do your Make It Matter for the kids, which happens to be just part of a business that you're trying to set up, then you'll have more than a few of us getting involved to help you out with that. And
thank you very much. And I will say the community already. I mean, I've mentioned this a couple of times on my live feeds and stuff like that I do, and everyone. I mean, as soon as I mentioned it, I had a lathe sent out to me. So I actually had 2 lathes as soon as I mentioned it. So the community is amazing. They've always supported me and the stuff I do. So
well, I think this community, knowing what you're intending to do, is going to be extremely generous in doing what they can. I mean, everybody can do what they can to a point. I mean, for a guy who doesn't have $1 is a lot of money. So you take that into perspective, and you're thankful for what people are able to do, and people are willing to help. Well, awesome. Can we talk about killing the duck?
Yeah, please do.
Can we talk about killing the duck?
before we do, as much as I really want to, we've got to quickly mention something about the bus.
Okay.
Leona sent me a link which I posted over in the chat. There's actually been a GoFundMe set up for that.
Oh, Steve didn't want to do that. Leona?
Well, unfortunately, it's been done.
Uh-oh.
So it's been set up. I've posted it, so we'll post that down in the descriptions or wherever when the video goes live. And
on Wednesday, that link will be in the description. Jamie, do me a favor, send me that link on Facebook, and that way I can copy it and I'll stick it in the description. But I tell you what,
Well,
Leona, if I
thank
had
you
it,
very much.
that's very nice of you. But I can tell you right now, if you had done that for me and I was in Steve's shoe, I'd be pissed off. But that's very nice of you.
No,
Anyway.
again, it's community.
It is
And
community.
thank you, Leona. You know, I've got to the point now where it started off as a pipe dream, and it started off like a little idea. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to do yada yada? We all have those thoughts, and it's got to a point where I've thought, actually, do you know what? This is something that could actually happen. So now I've got to take it so seriously that if someone's offering to get some kind of money to help me do what I'm going to do, then I'm not going to say no. I would be completely stupid not to take 50 cents off someone towards buying blades for a Stanley knife.
Oh no, you're right. I mean, you're right.
So,
You would be idiotic
because,
to spend your money on it.
Because at the end of the day, every 50 cents or every 1 cent is going towards the main goal.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I would eventually get there too, but I'm just saying, you know, initially. Well, you piss me off easily anyway, lady. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? And I love Leona, so Leona knows I'm kidding. But Leona doesn't like Guinness.
Gold. Yeah,
Leona doesn't like Guinness, and like if I was a dog, that would immediately make me not like you. Because whatever. Dogs have
does like vodka, however, a lot of it.
I could drink some Bloody Marys with you. I love Bloody Marys. Talk to me about some Bloody Marys, and we'll go all, you know, we'll go all to town, girl. Jamie, do you have anything for us today regarding your famous yellow pages of the maker world?
Yes, I do have something for Jamie's page. Right, so I received a message from Sophie from Make It Soph.
I like her.
And always, she's there to encourage the kids. And this summer, she's out to encourage them to get creative in the holidays. So she's got something running called the Mini Makers competition with the theme of hashtag Team Dinosaur or hashtag Team Unicorn. And I'm basically going to read exactly what she's messaged me. So, Sophie, if you've written it out wrong, that's on you.
Oh, no.
Oh, God, here we go.
Right.
Read it slowly, Jamie, slowly.
Has it got a lot of isn't it and boyo written in it?
It's written in Welsh. There's a lot of L's. Down in the valleys.
Oh my God, she's gonna hate us. Anyway, go ahead.
Go.
Right, so it starts off meh. Right.
Hold on, wait till Jamie puts his boots on.
Right, so
Sophie, I am so sorry.
Right, so
God.
so anyway, so the kids can make basically anything. They can do some painting, some drawing, some sculpting, create something inspired by dinosaurs or unicorns in whatever medium they want. And then all they've got to do is they've got to take a photo of what they have made and post a photo on Instagram and tag her in the post at Soph's Mini Makers and use the hashtag Team Unicorn or hashtag Team Dinosaur. Or the people can submit their entries via email to makeitsoph@gmail.com. This will count as their entry to the giveaway. A winner from each team, dinosaur and unicorns, will be decided by us as a podcast and the guys over at Fools with Tools. But
tell me we're judging Team Dinosaur and not Team Unicorn.
I have no idea.
I don't. Okay, whatever.
Here's a question: if unicorns existed, would they be a dinosaur?
No, they'd be rhinos that forgot their diet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
There's one thing they wouldn't be is sheep.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Jamie. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So so our podcast and the Fools of Tool guys will be deciding on the winners of the contest for each team, but all entries will receive a certificate. Competition is running now until the 5th of September 2019. Entries can be worldwide, but only for kids under the age of 18. So yeah, you can just send them to Soph's Mini Makers on Instagram and Facebook, because that's the account that they will be tagged in. Okay, so we'll leave Sophie's Instagram and Facebook accounts in the description as well.
And Sophie herself was a receiver of the Make It Matter fundraising.
Yes.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
Jamie, send me those links as well, so I can get those in there on Wednesday.
Yeah, will do.
If you don't mind.
Yep, will do.
Steven, shout out for you this week, my friend. Do you have one?
I don't have a video shout or anything like that, but what I will shout out is the Maker Meetup Island.
Oh, man. I'm going to cry now. I'm going to cry.
Yeah. We are assembling the end of this month. I think it's the 23rd, 24th, 25th of this month. I think it is. We're all meeting up at a house in Waterford, I think it is. But anyway, we're all meeting up and we're going to have a shindig. We're going to have turn-in. I'm bringing my mobile turn-in set up. And there's a guy that's going to be bringing, I believe, a mobile forge as well. So we're going to be doing some forging. And that's going to be happening. There is still some places. So if you are in or around Ireland and you want to come to that meetup, there are still a couple of places, but also you can bring a tent and camp out outside as well, so that's not a problem. Give either myself or Leona Faye, who is in the chat, a shout. Head over to Make a Meetup Ireland page on Facebook, and yeah, you're more than welcome to come along.
What are the dates for that, Stephen? When are you guys doing that?
Let me just check. I believe it's the
23rd through the 25th.
Yeah, so it's the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this month.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not. Yeah.
I hate everybody who's going because I can't go. I really want to get back to Ireland. I really do, and I'm not joking about that. I mean, I have been to Ireland several times, and I need to go back because I don't know. I like Ireland.
So anybody that wants to come to that, yeah, definitely head along.
I did actually have a shout out. I just never got around to saying it.
Okay, Jamie, go right ahead.
So my shout out goes to a guy called Michael Alm. He made a curly maple side table, and he basically made it look like the table was melting. So it looks awesome. Yeah, his whole channel is actually incredible. He deserves a hell of a lot more subscribers than what he's got.
Well, I'm going to check him out because I didn't see that. I want to see that.
Yeah, the video is called "Making Wood Melt."
Oh.
So
right.
yeah,
I just nearly died.
Yeah.
Lord.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't really have a maker video shout out this week. I have a video shout out for a video that just made me laugh. And my shout out this week goes to, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. If you haven't, link will be in the description. Goes to Green Shirt Guy.
Oh God.
Just do a search on YouTube for Green Shirt Guy, and you're going to find the video. Okay, the original video is like 44 seconds long. Watch the one that's 44 seconds long. Don't watch the one that's 2 minutes, because you're going to get to find a bunch of news people, talking heads talking about the video. You really want to see this just as it actually happened, and I'll tell you why. Forget the subject matter that is in this thing. I mean, just ignore it. I'm okay. But it's this guy laughing at somebody making an absolute idiot of themselves during a city council meeting, and they keep panning over to him, and he's dying of laughter. And his laugh is like infectious. You can't watch that video without laughing along with him. It's just hilarious. And it's 44 seconds. So And trust me, I've watched it several times and I've cracked up every time I watch it because the guy is hilarious. So anyway, Green Shirt Guy, do a YouTube search, and if you're out there and if you're watching us today, and if not, then the link will be in the description on Wednesday, so you can click on that. But that was my joy for the week, Mr. Green Shirt Guy. So thank you, Mister. I really do appreciate that.
Can I just remind you that before we do end, that we got waylaid from the hunting duck season?
Oh, we did. You know, we can bring that up next week.
Yeah.
Or we could do it as the after show, not patron show, but it could be a patron show, after show type chat that we don't have Patreon.
We could. I mean, we'll bring it up again next week anyway, just because the people who don't watch us live may see what we're talking about then. Anyway, because honestly, when this, I keep getting confused. This is going to go away on Wednesday. You will see our logo in this space and not that. But anyway, all right, we'll talk about that later. So, Mr. Page, would you like to get us out of this podcast?
I would. And goodbye.
God, you are a fantastic host, man. I just want to tell you, you don't have brevity is your anyway. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.